This is Kristen Hedgecock.
And I'm Ash Matson. You're listening to Apta Sophia,
which means useful wisdom in the pursuit of biblical womanhood.
Welcome to Apta Sophia. My name is Ash Matson, and I'm here with my co-host, Kristen Hedgecock.
Hello.
Hello. And we're here with our second most laid-back, non-theological
I know. We did
episode.
Like zero prep work.
I know.
Yeah.
Apart from thinking about things we loved.
Apart from even thinking about things.
And things that helped us. And usually we're very meticulous with like outlines and obsessing over what we're going to say and pulling up scriptures.
We're deep people. We can't be loosey-goosey. we don't know how. We've tried and we're like, that just doesn't feel...
I know, because we're supposed to be authentic, right? Like that's what we heard when we started the podcast. Like, just play and be yourselves. And like, be authentic. Don't be precious about it. Like, we love Darren Doan.
Yeah.
And we listened to a lot of Darren Doan, and we were like, all right, we're not going to be precious.
We're not going to be precious.
And we just got more precious. We just don't know how not to be. Yeah. So this is the least precious we've been.
Yeah. I have to say something really funny about our host introduction. So we were listening to our newest episode that we dropped last week.
Yeah.
The Wealth and Marriage, or Managing Wealth and Marriage. And you introduced yourself to, my name is Ash Matson, and this is my co-host. And then Knox, looks over at me. This is my co-host, Kristen Hedgecock. He's like, I thought you were the boss. I'm like, no, we're both hosting. We're equal. Hosting. We're both co. So anyway, it was super cute and really funny. I thought you were the boss.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
So
there's
funny.
a comedian. Oh, what's his name? Why can't I think of it? I'll think of it. He's not commendable. He's incredibly secular. And for the most part, he's not very raunchy, but he can get there because that's how all secular comedy goes, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know.
Why can't I think of his name? Because I love him so much. He's super funny. I've almost peed my pants listening to this guy before. Because he does great impressions of people.
Oh,
that's the best part is when he does impressions of he does this one skit about the guy that's talking about going to the gym all the time. He's like, get up, never sleep, never stop, no looking back. All of those motivational quotes. And he's like, wow, he's got the best. It's so funny. But anyways, he does this bit about how the co-pilot and the pilot, how they're always racing when they go to stop at a bar or something when they have a pit stop to be like, yeah, I'm the pilot, this is my co-pilot, even though it's the same thing. And the guy's like, you jerk, because you just always want to be the first person to say you're the pilot and you're never the co-pilot, even though you literally do the same thing.
Yeah. So this is my co-host, Ash Matson.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, I cannot think of his name. This is mom brain to the max. Yes, but anyways, again, not commending, so probably best. The Lord was like, I'm going to put a stop on your brain right now so that you cannot send anyone to listen to this person. Oh. But anyways, so we are going to be talking about, on this episode, our favorite things. Mm-hmm. Just general recommendations, things that we really love. But before we get into that, we are going to do the most important thing we do in any episode, and that is our Would You Rather question. And the Would You Rather question for this episode is, during the Christmas season, or the holiday season if you don't celebrate Christmas, would you rather go without lights or go without all other decorations? Kristen.
Oh, I would go without all other decorations.
Yes.
I think the lights make everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you put them inside your house and outside your house. It just is magical.
Yes.
You have to have them.
Yeah.
And you can see them whether it's in the dark or in the light. You can see it all the time.
And I would cheat and I would take little thumbtacks and make a Merry Christmas in lights or a little wreath in lights. Or it would just be the lights of Christmas in my house. And who's to say you can't go find a shrub outside? That's not a Christmas decoration. It's just a shrub.
It's a shrub.
But you could kind of get a workaround in there.
Yeah.
But if you didn't have lights and you just had... Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
It kind of gets a little bit uglier.
Yeah.
And less understandable.
Yeah. You're like, why did you put balls in this tree?
Yeah. Oh, no
Yeah.
lit up Christmas tree.
Right. It's
Just
just
this dark,
sad.
dumpy thing in the side of your at night.
In the corner,
especially.
in the corner
It's just
in your
like this
house.
dark,
Yeah.
gloomy tree at night.
Do you, when you have your Christmas tree, because you have your Christmas tree up, I don't have my Christmas tree up yet. Do you have your lights on your tree all the time, like 24/7, or do you turn them off at night?
No, all the time. It never
Same.
turns off.
Yeah.
Yeah, all during the day, all during the night, for until pretty much like February. That
Yeah.
thing better not catch fire. Yeah, I just love it so much. Yeah. And this year we went and got a tree up in the mountains. And my son decided to play hide and seek up in the mountains. That was fun. And and so we brought home, after a very traumatizing game of hide and seek, we brought home the first tree that he cut down with my husband, that they were like, oh, this is decent. And we set it up in our house, and it was just the most like gargantuan, like patchy, odd, like people were tripping over the branches that were on the ground. It was horrible. And I tried to like trim the branches and then zip tie them back in and like put this tree back together. And then we just drug it outside and left it in the front yard. And then we set it up nicely afterwards and decided to give it away to a family in our neighborhood. And I just put up my artificial tree that I got for free. Like, check out the last episode. Pro tip, here we go. Favorite things. At the end, this isn't a favorite thing. This is just pro tip. At the end of Christmas, find all the free stuff that people are giving away. Go get it. And
Where do
save
you
it up
find
for
it?
next year.
Where do you find all the free stuff?
Here is one of my favorite things. We'll just get right into it before we do our Would You Rather question.
Yeah.
Well, no, we did it.
We did it.
We did it. We're done with the conversation apparently. Okay. So we're
Moving
just going to dive right into it is pretty clear, like lights.
Right.
Lights. Okay. There is an app, and I feel like I shouldn't tell anybody about this because then I'm going to have competition. Okay. There is an app.
Ash is working on her selfishness this year.
I am, yes, because I want to beat you to the free stuff. And so I'm like, if I tell you, how am I going to beat you? But luckily, we have like 50 listeners all over the world.
So it's spreading out the
not
competition.
too much competition.
Yeah.
You're not in my neighborhood. So it's called Free Stuff Alerts or Freebie Alerts. You can search both. But for some reason, the app developer was like, the icon is going to say Free Stuff Alerts, and the name is actually going to be Freebie Alerts. This glorious little app will connect you to Nextdoor, Craigslist, OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, and will tell you the minute anything is posted for free in your exact area. And so you can be the first person to go and get it. And it has it will pop up and it connects to the apps on your phone. Free Cycle is another one. There's a bunch and that it connects to. And then you just tap the button and it will take you to the listing, and then you message the person. It is so convenient. I've gotten so much free stuff that was quality free stuff, because there are times where people are just moving and they got to get stuff out and they just want you to come get it. And that's what you want to find. If you're a furniture flipper or anything like that, go on this app. There's so much stuff depending on where you are. I mean, you really got to live in like a highly populated city area if you want the good stuff. But I've gotten 2 like brand new car seats. One was new in the box, never been used. I've gotten so many toys, so many clothes, things for other people, Christmas trees out the ears. So yeah. Go there. You will see. Ding, 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 ding. And that's the other thing, is you get a buzz on your phone anytime something's posted. So be careful with this app. It's very powerful. You will end up on the show hoarders really quickly if you're not careful. But if you know what you're looking for and you can be strategic. I was just telling Kristen, while we were recording the last episode, my kids have been asking me, because I have one, I really wanted to rollerblade. Don't judge me. I thought it sounded super fun. So my friend got me a pair of rollerblades at a Value Village for like $5 and brought it for me. And so I rollerbladed through the alley. Also pro tip, if you are trying to let your kids ride bikes and your kids need you to actually like push them and help them with it, get on some rollerblades and zip around those kids and get behind them and push on your rollerblades. It's super fun. Okay, I don't look cool, but it's really fun. And my kids obsess over my rollerblades, and I tell them they're not allowed to wear them because they're so big that their little ankles are just like collapsing.
Yeah, they're gonna break.
It's so dangerous.
Yeah.
So I'm like, don't do that. But they've been begging me for rollerblades. And I just saw a listing for 2 adjustable kids rollerblades, and they're like pretty dang good condition from the pictures. Yeah. And it's like 10 minutes away from my house. So you guys pray for me, I hope. I mean, God is outside of space and time, so your future prayers can totally apply.
Right.
So hopefully, yeah, I'm just cashing it in advance.
There you go.
Okay. All right, Kristen, what is one of your favorite things?
Can we start with makeup?
Yeah.
We kind of talked about makeup.
Yeah, I want to know what your favorites are.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So my favorite chapstick that I always have one in my car and always one in my purse. And I love it. I love the way they make my lips feel and look and everything is that EOS, the EOS.
Oh yeah, the like ball one.
But I don't like the ball.
Yeah, I was like, what do you do?
It's too awkward. It's so weird.
What do you do
But
with
they
that?
make an actual like stick, like an actual chapstick stick. So I love it. And Knox told me it's edible because he ate some of mine. So that's my son, my 10-year-old. He is listening in here next to me. He was in our last episode. So that's my fave chapstick. I also, my favorite lipstick, my favorite shade of all times, and I'm like gonna be that 80-year-old woman that like, I remember when I was in high school and this is the shade for me. I was told I was autumn and therefore I must have all the jewel shades, or I don't know. But my favorite shade of lipstick is by Mary Kay, which I got in high school.
I was a Mary Kay consultant in my 20s, and I still feel like, it's Mary Kay.
Mary Kay. I feel so old and weird saying that right now because there could be some young people going, what? Who is this Mary Kay? But the shade is called Whipped Berries, and it's my favorite. It's like the perfect shade of like, it's a purpley red color. So it's kind of like a wine color. I don't know. It's really pretty. That's my favorite. Let's see. Oh, my favorite foundation is called Too Faced, and I get it at Ulta. I love Ulta. Ulta is my favorite thing. I really love makeup. I have always loved makeup. I like the artistic aspect of it. I wear less and less now that I'm getting older as the powders start to set into my wrinkles and my frown lines. So, but yeah, so that's my, I get so irritated sometimes with these makeup people because they keep discontinuing my favorite things.
Right.
So for the longest time, I love cream shadow. So I use cream shadow.
Which one?
This is how dumb I am or how much I love this. And they don't make it anymore. And I went to like 5 different Macy's and Sephora's because they were the only ones that carried it. And now I can't think of the brand. I cannot think of the brand, but they made this cream shadow in this perfect shade and they were going to discontinue it. So I went and I bought like 4. I went to all the Macy's stores and I just bought them all up. Just all of them. Yeah. Every single one that they had. Which wasn't very many because I only came back with 4.
Right.
Maybe they were limiting them. I don't know. But so, and I just used my lash. This was like 5-6 years ago. I just used my last stash. And now it's all gone. So L'Oreal makes a cream shadow. It's okay. But it's not like the perfect shade. It was the perfect shade because I use it as a base.
NYX or NYX.
NYX.
It has the best like foundation or kind of like a eyeshadow primer. But I would get the bright white one when I would do really bright eyeshadow colors and then go over it. But they have more neutral ones too.
Okay.
But it sticks so well.
Yeah.
You can use it for eyeliner. I would use the white one also to brighten up the corner of my eye and underneath my lash line. Because you can blur it and it looks really subtle. But that one is really good and it stays all day long. That's my favorite brand. They have the best stuff for the price, I think.
And where is that at Ulta?
Target.
Target. Okay.
get
I'm
it
like,
at
I know
Target.
I've seen the brand before.
It is at
Yeah.
Ulta.
It is at Ulta. Okay.
But it's at Target too, which
Okay.
is super helpful.
Yeah.
They also have the best eyeliner I've ever had.
Okay.
It's like let me see. What's it called? It's like tattoo. Hang on. I was going to recommend it. Yeah, okay, no. So it's Epic Ink Liner, the waterproof.
Yeah.
And it will stay all day long. It is so easy to put on. I've tried a ton of liquid liners.
Yeah.
And it's not the kind that has this. Do you remember in like the 2000s?
Probably.
They had the tiny little like.
Brush?
It has a really nice tapered, almost like a calligraphy pen.
Oh, yes.
So when you press it, you can get like a thicker line and then taper if you do the cat eye.
Uh-huh.
And I love it.
Yeah.
It's so easy to use. It goes really, really quick and it stays on all day. I haven't worn makeup in a long time, but I had an obsessed period. And it was before I had so many kids that I couldn't spend an hour doing my makeup, but there was a period of time where I was like super about it. But NYX is awesome. They have so many good products. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like you wear makeup. You probably don't wear makeup as often as you used to.
No, I just really used to really enjoy it. I really enjoyed putting it on. I really enjoyed doing different things with it. And I will again.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm like
Yeah.
if I wear makeup, it's usually like I'll do my brows and my mascara. Thrive mascara, the lash extensions.
Uh-huh.
Best mascara I've ever used ever, hands down.
Really?
Ever. And I've tried really expensive mascara. I've spent $30 for a tube of mascara.
I know.
Because it's worth it if you find it, especially if you don't put a full face of makeup on very often. It's worth it.
Yeah.
But Roller Lash was another one that I really liked. And I got it through Ipsy. Mm-hmm. I love I found so many good products through Ipsy.
Okay.
But yeah, Thrive is the best that I've ever tried.
Okay.
It is amazing. And it's like a lash extension where you can almost like at the end of the day, you can kind of peel them off, which is crazy.
Oh, interesting.
But
it's like in a tube of mascara?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And then what are some other ones I had? So Pixie H2O Skin Drink is my favorite moisturizer. You cannot get it in a large bottle. It's very, so these are like they're an investment, but it's so worth it if you want to treat yourself. But best moisturizer I've ever used. It's called H2O Skin Drink from Pixie. It's a little green bottle.
Okay.
And then my favorite foundation primer that is like $30 for 1 ounce, but it's so good. It's Smashbox. I think it's called like Photo Finish.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is so
I have a
nice.
sample of
it
that.
makes your face feel amazing, and it totally changes the way your foundation goes on.
I know.
And
Isn't
I
that
like
crazy?
the NYX foundation, the liquid foundation is super like it is very like highly pigmented for how light it is.
Okay.
And it's cheap. So you can offset the cost of your primer with the foundation. But it's really like it covers everything without being cakey or powdery.
Okay.
As long as you have the right stuff underneath it.
Sure.
But it's really good.
I'm liking this. Yeah. I used to only own hundreds, ashamedly. So shameful.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
I used to think it was
have
crazy.
nice makeup.
Yeah.
That's like, I will thrift my clothes, which I have. I don't like, I'm very similar to you. I hardly ever buy anything full price. I always shop the clearance racks. And I do a lot of like thrift stuff. But I will spend it on my makeup, on nice makeup, because I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
worth
something
it.
that goes on my skin, and, makeup can be damaging and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So you want like nicer stuff. And like, I work part-time as a nurse, so I don't have to invest in clothing because I just wear scrubs. And so I was like, well, I'm just going to wear nice makeup.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There's so many good products. I used to think it was insane to spend that much on makeup until I did.
I know.
Until I
think
got like
need
my first eyeliner. I got like an eyeliner for like $25, and I was like, "What is wrong with me? The Lord is displeased." And it was so nice, and I was like, "This is entirely different."
Yeah.
Like it's worth it because a little bit goes a long way, and the quality of it is so much better.
I know. I told Scott that I need an insurance policy out on my makeup.
Yeah.
I'm like, it would cost several $100s to replace it.
Yeah.
I mean, it lasts because I also don't wear makeup all that much anymore either, because I'm mostly home most of the time. And so I wear makeup like a couple times a week. And so it just lasts so much longer.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. I'm still a Burt's Bees fan for lip,
Are you?
chapstick.
Yeah.
I've tried so many different kinds. I've never tried the EOS one.
Okay.
Because the ball thing is weird.
I don't like the ball thing.
Like,
I got a ball thing.
That's
I
so
know.
weird.
You're
Why?
just like, it's so awkward. So awkward. So I don't like it, but somebody gave me the stick, or maybe it came, I don't know, maybe it came as a stick with the ball thing. I'm not really sure.
We got McDonald's.
We got
Sorry,
McDonald's.
y'all. I made my husband go get a Big Mac.
Yeah, it was all thanks to our last episode. We started talking about food, and
it's so good.
Ash's baby wanted it, so.
Yeah, so my husband's like, right. Yeah. So
and the patriarchy delivered.
He did, yes. What a mean monster of a patriarch.
Yeah.
I got 2 Big Macs. It wasn't big enough, apparently. I like the tinted Burt's Bees.
Yes.
If you want to have kind of like a lipstick thing going on, but I feel like a lot of lipsticks are just a lot of upkeep.
Yeah.
I love again, NYX. It was the very first product I tried of theirs. Is their like matte liquid lipstick. And that stuff, you have to be careful where you put that because it will not come off.
Yeah.
My daughter has helped herself to my lipstick, and I'm like, girl, this ain't coming off, so I can't fix this.
Yeah, I bought a lip stain by Lip Sense. I think it's one of those like...
I've never tried that.
Oh my gosh, it's really good. We have a friend that sells. It is a MLM, but whatever. I don't care about that. Do you have a good product and I'll buy it?
Yeah.
But
a lot of the
so
times
that's...
the products are good. It's just the marketing.
The way it's...
whole strategy.
Is not as good. But whatever. I'm there to support my friend and her business, and she knows I like makeup. So... yeah, the Lip Sense is really good. That's, you know what? That is the one so this is what really gets my goat with COVID, is I hardly ever wear lipstick anymore. And I have so many tubes of lipstick. Yeah, you've seen it. My son's like, I've seen it. So many tubes of lipstick, and I miss it. That's so dumb. That's so dumb.
No, you shouldn't have to wear a face diaper all the time.
I know, a face diaper.
Well, you are in the healthcare industry, so I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I want to get a mask that has like red lips, because I would wear...
They have clear masks.
I know. I could just do I'd have to do like a hood. I either have to wear... Anyway, politics. I don't like it, but it's dumb. It's dumb. I'm tired. I'm tired of wearing the face masks. Around healthy people. That's just my opinion on things, but not what we want to talk about tonight.
Favorite things. Not COVID.
Not COVID is not my favorite thing. Okay, so any other makeup things? I think I think I'm kind of done with makeup. Oh, I have a favorite. What is it called? Hairspray. Do you know how many? So I get a lot of people asking me what hairspray I use all the time.
Because your hair is like beautiful.
Part of it is I just think the way my hair is and the way it responds to styling. It didn't used to be that way. I used to have very fine, thin hair, and then I had kids, and then I have nice hair now. But I buy big sexy hair in the big red can. You can get it.
Inappropriate, Kristen.
I know, it's very inappropriate. Sorry if you have kids listening. But
it's used by ladies of the night.
The lady used by, which I work night shift on occasion, so it's fitting. But you can get that cheaper, much cheaper, because it's a little bit more expensive because it works again. You can get them at Ross sells it, or TJ Maxx, because it's like $17.99 a bottle or a spray can. Yeah, it's close to $20.
One thing of hairspray lasts me like a year though, so I would pay for that.
Yeah, so do it. Mm-hmm.
I just don't know how to use it, so just kind of experiment every so often.
Mm-hmm. I need to come over.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could have a fun makeover night. That'd be fun.
I think I have curly hair.
Yeah,
lightly curly.
I see it, like wavy.
Anytime I get out of the shower, my hair is very wavy and frizzy. So something is going on there. Also, my kids have curly hair when they're younger.
Yeah.
And my brother has really curly hair.
Yeah.
If he lets it grow out, like ringlet, like Justin Timberlake type ramen hair. So
yeah,
I know it's in my family. So I've thought about doing the curly girl thing just to see if I get some so I don't have to I can do less with my hair.
Yeah.
Look cute.
Yeah.
But because my hair is when I straighten it, it's very fine.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of voom, voo, voo.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Vavoom.
Voo, voo, voo.
Vavoom.
Yeah. But I wish I had hair Nioxin shampoo and cleanser or conditioner is great. I've used it since I was a kid. My mom she owned her own salon, has owned her own salon since she was 20, 22. Okay. So a very long time. Yeah. And she's been using it for a really long time. And it's great for treating hair loss. I've used it a lot after having babies because I have postpartum hair loss. Mm-hmm. So that's probably my favorite shampoo and conditioner. Mm-hmm. And they have different formulas for depending on what you got going on.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't really know that much about hair.
Me neither.
I can't even braid. I can't do a French braid on myself.
Oh,
I can finally do it on my daughter.
Yeah.
But not on me.
It's
You
different.
do it. You do the French braid, pigtails.
Uh-huh.
I cannot. It would not look like that.
Yeah.
No.
It was a lot of practice because I do a Dutch. It's a Dutch braid, which is like an upside down French braid. So it's thicker, so it the braid stands up on top of your hair. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's the same braid. You just braid under instead of braiding over, taking the pieces over. You just put it under, and then the braid sticks up. That's a Dutch braid.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about What are some other? What are other categories you got going on?
Yeah, I had books, which I know you and I are both kind of in the trenches in homeschooling and child rearing, and so reading is hard to come by. But one of my favorite kid books this year. So I mentioned in our last episode that I do read alouds with my kids, and one of my favorite read aloud this year was Elephant in the Garden. So that's my favorite kid book thing. Mm-hmm. What's that? Explain it. Want me to give a little synopsis of it? That's Knox. He's like, explain it. Mm-hmm. Okay. So this book was, I forget who's it written by. Anyway,
don't know.
Look it up, Google it. Elephant in the Garden. It's based on a true story. It's based in Dresden, and that's in World War II era time. And it's about this woman who she works at a zoo, and she has kids, and her husband is off to war. And so one of the orders that they got, all the cities got, this is a true order, this is a true thing that actually happened in real life, is if there was an air raid, that all of the zookeepers had to put down and shoot all of their large game. So all their lions, their tigers, bears, whatever. They had to shoot them. Because if they got free, then they would obviously be attacking people. Which I'm thinking, but this is an air raid, so they have bigger problems. I don't know. Or they just didn't want to add to the
Didn't
problem.
want to add bears to the problem.
Anyway, so I mean, it makes sense, kind of.
It's kind of hungry.
Right. But anyway, so this woman raised this orphaned elephant from birth or from really young, and she was afraid that if an air raid happened during the middle of the night, that some of the other zookeepers would shoot it. And she was very attached to it. And so she convinced the director of the zoo, I don't know if that's the right title, to let her bring it home each night. And so she would keep it in the communal garden where her apartment building was. And so anyway, air raid happened, right? It's World War II, air raid happened. And it just tells about their journey, trying to get to the U.S. troops for safety and sanctuary, essentially. But obviously that's really hard to do when you have a giant mammal following you. So they had to take all these back roads, and it just talks about their adventures in the back roads. Anyway, it's a really, really good book. All my kids really enjoyed listening to it. So anyway, so that's my big kid recommend. I'm trying to think of what I read a lot about Elizabeth Elliot this year. And so I read Becoming Elizabeth Elliot, and I'm horrible. I forget who wrote that, but it was, I think, one of her best friends in real life, or really, like, it was a close friend that wrote it, this biography about her. And let's see. I read, was it Popes and Feminists that I read this year?
Oh, yeah.
So I read Popes and Feminists by Elise Krapuschetz, and that was a fantastic book. Really, really interesting. Yeah, I felt really, that book was about just kind of how the Protestants, when the Reformation happened, and all the things that the Protestants fought for in terms of like women and women's rights and women's all this other stuff. And yeah, it was really interesting. Like, they're the ones that like argued for women to be educated and argued for like the women's role in the home is a prestigious thing and not a dirty thing, because the Catholic Church viewed celibacy as like, that is your standard. And if you can't be chaste, then, okay, well, then you're just given to your desires and get married and have kids. So getting married and having kids, especially a lot of kids, was just kind of a dirty thing because they equated you to like an animal, like you're just breeding. And so she just kind of juxtaposes the culture at that time to the culture of today and just gives a history. It's really, really fascinating. And then she talks a lot about the wives of the reformers and just everything that they did and how well educated they were because of their beliefs, of the importance of women's roles within the home, and that it was more than just, being a really good housekeeper, like Martin Luther's wife, Catherine. Like, she wrote back and forth big letters, long letters, theological letters to different popes, like defending this position. And obviously you have to be able to read, you have to be able to write, you have to have some formal training in just basic theology. And so anyway, it was really, really good book.
Yeah. So I'm going to do the predictable thing, if anyone knows me, and recommend a boatload of books that are predictable. But before that, one of my favorite things is my Bluetooth wireless earbuds. I have 3 different pair that I've collected over the last 5 years through Christmases and Mother's Day and whatever. And it is so helpful to put one in, have them on rotation if you need to listen to it all day. You can play scripture, you can play music, you can play worship music, you can play a little hip hop if you need to get some stuff done, or I don't know, whatever you're feeling, some Mozart, and you can listen to audiobooks. So I have a whole library of books that I've been collecting that I would love to read in paper form. But I am in a season where by the time I'm actually able to read a book, regardless of what time of day it is, if I sit down and read for too long, I will fall asleep 10 out of 10 times. It is just, I remember being like this when I was a kid, but now it's so much worse. It's like exasperated because I'm physically tired. So being on my feet and listening to an audiobook is amazing. So first thing I want to say is 2 apps that are incredible. Everybody knows about Audible, but if you don't know about Scribd is, I think it's something like $11 a month. And you can listen, you don't own the audiobooks, but there are so many audiobooks you can listen to. And I think you can listen to like 3 to 5 really popular, kind of like new bestseller type audiobooks each month. And then there's also a whole array of ones that you can listen to through the whole month. But they do limit the amount of like super popular titles you can listen to because you could burn through like a million.
Yeah.
But they have pretty much like anything I've thought of. They also have, you can actually read ebooks, you can read PDFs. A lot of people will upload like homeschool curriculums and stuff like that to Scribd, so you can look through them. They're not always complete, but depending. A lot of kids books that I have found that I've wanted that I haven't been able to get at the library, either because they didn't have it or because it was
On a waiting
on
list.
a super long waiting list, I can get on Scribd. So I'm actually going to use it tomorrow for our homeschool co-op to like go through.
Yay.
Yeah, on my big tablet. So
Yeah.
it'll be like reading a book. Yeah, so Scribd is amazing. Also the Canon app. And this is the part that's predictable. So the Canon app, you can listen to any audiobook from Canon Press. You can listen to sermons, you can listen to lectures, you can listen to podcasts. And I have many books that I've read, but these are the ones that I go back to. And I'm recommending them because I've listened to all of these at least 3 times, if not more. So Standing on the Promises by Douglas Wilson, Fruit of Her Hands by Nancy Wilson, Fit to Burst, and Loving the Little Years by Rachel Jankovic. I've listened to those like probably 15 times, especially Loving the Little Years. There was a week where I listened to it all the way through every morning for a week because I was in such a bad place.
Yeah.
I just needed that. It's like having that encouragement. So
Yeah.
if you read Canon Press books, especially ones that are related to parenting and marriage, they're theological, but it's very much in the practical application realm, which is what I need most right now. And it's what I appreciate most. So I kind of discovered this whole world of publications around the time that I was already kind of I'd already kind of nailed down where I stood on a lot of major issues. But the practical application, like how it applies to my everyday life, especially as a wife and mother, this has helped with that.
Yeah.
And so when I'm having hard times and I need to be reminded to be joyful, to be disciplining joyfully, to have the right perspective on my children's sin, on my own sin, to remember the cross, to get a good big picture of where I'm headed and what this is all for, having that in my ear is so helpful. So those books in particular, Standing on the Promises and Why Children Matter by Doug Wilson, I think Why Children Matter seems to be kind of like a light version of Standing on the Promises. It's very easy to listen to. You can listen to it in like 3 hours. And it is so good. And then Fruit of Her Hands is very much like focused towards marriage and respecting your husband and what that looks like. What it looks like to be a faithful wife, a wife that is faithful to the Lord and the commands of the Lord in marriage. And then Loving the Little Years and Fit to Burst are very focused on parenting and mothering in the trenches when your kids are little and you're going through those really hard seasons. And then Even Exile by Rebecca Merkel. I've listened to that one many times.
Yeah.
There are just so many mainstays. I just listened to Productivity by Douglas Wilson, and productivity podcasts, materials, stuff like that are very appealing to me because I want to figure out how to hack my house. How can I be super efficient? How can I streamline everything? How can I have everything on a system? And so this was a really good like biblical perspective on productivity from someone who has, like it or not, created a lot. He's produced a lot in his lifetime as far as institutions and schools and publications and books and all of that. So from someone very credible in regards to getting stuff done. So, yeah, those are my recommendations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Broken Bread by Tilly Dillahay.
I've heard
was
so
another
many
one.
good things. I've seen so many good quotes
Yeah.
on Facebook from that book. I think that will be my next. I'm reading about Anne Bradstreet. I think that's her last name. She was a Puritan back in the Puritan days, back in the 1700s, I think. And gosh, I think that's maybe 1600s. I can't remember. Anyway, around there, Pilgrim times, think Pilgrim. So I was reading about her. I just started, but I think I will read that book, The Broken Bread. Is it Broken Bread?
Yeah.
Broken Bread.
It is so
Next. I've just, all the quotes that I've seen are just like hit home, resonate with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 books I plan on reading with my daughters when they're in their preteen years are Even Exile and Broken Bread. Because it hits on so many things that just really become a prevalent issue in those ages, at least from my experience.
Yeah.
And I had an eating disorder when I was in high school. And it caused a lot of tension in my family. And it was just very unhealthy and changed the way I thought about things for a really long time.
Yeah.
And just reading through this book and like thinking if I had had somebody there to say this to me,
Yeah.
like, not like, I mean, my parents were trying to help me. They
Sure.
did, like, my parents are wonderful. They
Yeah.
were wonderful parents. They went above and beyond to try to help me through this and get me out of it. But just something about hearing this biblical perspective and like her answering literally every error in my thinking that I've ever had about food is just so fantastic.
Yeah.
And that you see in the church and in fellowship and like how to think about food rightly and biblically. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. As I eat 2 Big Macs while I'm sitting on the couch, joyfully into the glory of the Lord. Yes.
Yeah.
Those are the books that I've read this year. There are a lot of books that I've started that I haven't finished because I've tried to sit and read them.
Yeah. It is hard.
that's
I probably
frustrating.
get through a paragraph. I was surprised the other night. I made it through the first 3 chapters of this Anne Bradstreet. I think that's her name, Bradstreet. Anyway, I was very proud of myself because usually I'm in that camp. Usually I get maybe a paragraph and I'm just done. I cannot read anymore. I'm like, and I'm going to go to bed. Yeah, that's just, I've just become that person. And I don't know when my energized person will come back.
Yeah.
Or maybe I just need to pick a different time of day to read. But yeah, not at the end of the day. But even like afternoons when I'm done with school, I just try. I've tried that too. I have to, like my Bible reading, I have to read it in the morning or listen to it while I'm doing something, or else I'm just like night.
Yeah, and I know
so
there's
hard.
so much good. That's what's so
I
frustrating.
know.
Like
Yeah.
picking up like the Pocket Puritans and getting it's so rich and
Pocket Puritans are-
incredible.
yeah.
And like you're like, oh, I wish I could listen to this and not. I won't retain it. It's just
No,
too deep.
it's too
I need
deep.
something high level, direct, quick, like
Yeah.
that sort of thing. So when I say can impress, that's not because that's all there is. But for me in my season right now, and if you're in the same season as me, super helpful.
Yeah.
Super helpful and encouraging. But I can't wait until I get to the point where I'm able
Yeah.
to sit and read
Looking
the
forward.
Puritans and retain.
Do you have any good podcasts that are your
Let me look
favorites?
through my phone.
I know. I have Theologians I listen to. I love Nancy Wilson's Femina podcast. They're short. I usually listen, so I typically work on Fridays at the hospital. And so I listen to her podcast because it comes out on Fridays. I listen to them on my way to work, and it just sets my attitude straight, sets me right. She's so encouraging in just a joyful way. I also listen to Stories Are Soul Food. I like, it's more like literary. I I never really took any literature classes. And so now that I'm homeschooling and my oldest is in middle school now, and I'm looking to teach these things, I'm like, I don't know. I took a children's lit class at community college and loved it. Like, I got a really good grade, I remember. Do I remember anything from it, really? Not really. But I remember loving it and really liking it. So I like their perceptions. I also listen to, Scholé Sisters, which is, so our co-op is kind of founded on the Scholé principle of learning, just restful learning. And they are, big avid advocates for read alouds and just reading good literature, reading them to your kids and just reading them for yourself. So I get a lot of my book ideas from them because they just talk about what books they're reading and stuff. I don't know. So a lot of mine are just so far revolving around literature.
Yeah.
And I also listen to true crime podcasts.
What's your favorite?
Well, I finished one. I haven't gone. It's been a while because the season is closed. It was with the what was their names? It was local here to Seattle. About the Mormon guy who, what is his name?
I don't know.
Yeah, I want to say Peterson. Last name is Peterson, but I know that that's not right. Is it Josh Peterson? I think it's Josh Peterson. Maybe it is Peterson. Anyway, so, it was a guy who apparently he was never convicted, but it looked like he had murdered his wife and took her out into the woods with their 2 boys, but they couldn't prove anything because they couldn't find a body. And anyway, it was local here, just down in Puyallup, and there was a lot of concerns because he's super, super weird, just weird guy, weird at the kids at school, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, the grandparents of the children were trying to advocate for custody because he was just kind of off his rocker, and they highly suspected him of the murder, even though it just wasn't proven. And it's horrible, but he ended up lighting his house on fire with him and his boys in it.
Wow.
During his visitation. It's just
I know
horrible.
what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
it happened in 2009. I think it was right after my son was born. And I just remember, I remember the news. Anyway, so I just finished that. So, yeah. Super uplifting favorite things. But I, the psychological stuff intrigues me. And so there's a lot of psychological components to that case. And he was just such an interesting in a bad way guy. So, yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I listen that's close to that, and it's only because I love her, is I don't know if you've heard of Bailey Sarian.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
She's not a believer.
No, she is not.
She has a lot of beliefs that are not.
She's not a believer.
She's not a believer, so all of her beliefs.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying a lot of the things she says are not going to be in line with scripture.
Yeah.
But she's not incredibly crude or crass.
No.
And I appreciate that. But she's really cute.
Yeah.
And she has a really not winsome, but an entertaining way of kind of retelling a true crime story.
Uh-huh.
And so she had Murder, Mystery, and Mayhem Makeup Monday. That's what it was. Murder, Mystery, Makeup Monday. And she would do her makeup on YouTube. She was a makeup artist, I think for ELF or ELF or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And she would retell a true crime story. And now she has a podcast called Dark History. Mm-hmm. And it's okay.
I don't love it.
Obviously, her worldview is skewed, but every so often I'll listen to it. But that's really the only true crime.
Yeah.
that I listen to because it just gets so depressing and it also makes me afraid to do anything. So I really have only like retained listening to her. Like maybe once every 2 months I'll pop in and see what she's doing just because I like her as a person. She seems very cute. But
Yeah.
Otherwise, some like storytelling podcasts that I really like are all from Aaron Mahnke. I love Lore and The Cabinet of Curiosities and Unobscured. And so all of those, Cabinet of Curiosities is like shorter, like 10-minute episodes, and he'll usually tell you a story about something interesting in history, and at the very end you kind of realize he'll like reveal that he's talking about something He'll be like, and the name of the person was, and then it's like a famous person in history, and what the person invented was the first computer or whatever. I don't know. And so that's really fun. Lore is a little bit, I think it's more of a compilation of stories, and so the episodes are a little bit longer.
Okay.
And it kind of goes into like just like weird like mythology
Like
and
folklore
stories and
type thing.
folklore and stuff like that.
Okay.
So that's really fun. And then Unobscured is more of a series on a specific topic.
Okay.
So he did one on the Salem witch trials. And again, not a believer, so his worldview is entirely skewed wrong.
Yeah.
But very, very entertaining. But as far as podcasts I listen to on the regular, Apologia Radio is always huge. Ben Shapiro, I listen to all the time. He's so entertaining.
Oh my
I don't
gosh.
agree with him on everything politically, and I know you can't, like, I just love the way he speaks.
No,
He's so direct and so quick, and, like...
Quick as... he's, like, on 1.5 speed.
I love it.
I am just like, what are they feeding you? It's so fast.
Great.
My husband also loves Ben Shapiro, and I love his content. Like, his content is really good. And yeah, I don't always agree 100% on everything he says, but I think he, presents things politically like fairly balanced. But I cannot handle listening to him. I can't. Like, Scott cannot. He doesn't. I'm just like, you have to turn this off. This guy is really irritating me.
I can't not listen to his take on if anything happens. I go to his podcast so I can hear what he says about it.
Yeah,
because it's just so. I love it. Yeah, and then I don't listen to this all the time. It's not my most favorite, but I really think she has a solid biblical perspective on things. Is Allie Beth Stuckey, relatable?
Yeah.
She's a good one. The All of Christ for All of Life podcast kind of pulls from different lectures and sermons and usually audiobooks and stuff like that to read a chapter from like Canon Materials or Christ Church. Those are really good. Cultish with Jeremiah Roberts. That is so fun. If you like true crime and you like learning about different cults and like false religions and stuff like that, they have it's a Christian perspective on that. And that's really fun to listen to. We have someone at our church who does the John 3:15 podcast, Jeremy Swingle, and I forget his co-host name, but the reason it's called the John 3:15 podcast is because they kind of take verses that are generally taken out of context, like John 3:16, and put it in context by looking at everything around it and what is actually going on there. And so they have an episode on popular verses that are like that, and it's really fun to listen to.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna I listen to a lot of podcasts, so I don't read a lot of books, but I listen to a lot of podcasts. As far as like homemaking goes, I really like Simply Convivial with Misty Winkler.
Oh, yes.
She has a lot of good homeschooling content and also a lot of good just general home management and organization content. Thankful Homemaker is very similar in that regard. A Slob Comes Clean is incredible if you are not a naturally organized person and you need to figure out where to start. Listening to her, and she doesn't have an all or nothing perspective. It's very practical, very much like she has a book called Decluttering at the Speed of Life, and her name is Dana K. White, and I've listened to her for a long time. We have dear friends at the podcast Young and Wifed Up. We're actually going to do a collab with them in the future, and it is a very fun, like practical and sometimes theological, like homemakery, home management, biblical womanhood type podcast, and I love that. Let me see, what do we got here? Simply Charlotte Mason is wonderful. If you're a Charlotte Mason fan.
I forgot one that I'm listening with the kids. It's How the World Works. And that is by the people who write for the Tuttle Twins. They're like 15-minute episodes.
20.
Maybe 20, at the most. But generally they're around 15 minutes, and unlike our podcast. But they are so good at unpacking a lot of social issues for kids and for grown-ups like me who it's really great for me and for my kids, but I'm learning a lot too. But yeah, they just break down all these things that are just really good, and it's super concise. And my older boys, we listen to it in the car. I mean, we all listen to it in the car, but my older boys really get the most out of it, I think. That's also a really good one.
That is, I've only listened to a few episodes, but it was really good.
Yeah.
The last one I have is To the Word podcast. If you're doing the Bible reading challenge, I was late to the game on this podcast, but they went through all the books and have a bunch of really great topical episodes. They have great guests on, and they really go in deep and are very solid in their exegesis of scripture and their explanation of like the historical views and stuff like that. So that's another one.
Yeah. I think so. I mean, I have Knox sitting here, and he wanted me to he was reminding me that camping is my favorite thing to do. Like recreationally, you said you like to rollerblade camping.
That is not what I do for recreation.
Well, one of the things, rollerblade while pushing your
Hit the
kids.
streets with my blades.
Hit the alley with your blades. But I like all outdoors. Knox is usually my right-hand man to do that. And all my kids, I think, enjoy camping, but Knox in particular goes full throttle on outdoor survival stuff. So, yeah, he wanted to make sure that I threw that in there. But I did ask for snowshoes for Christmas.
Oh.
Yeah, so hopefully Santa will listen.
All the things I want for Christmas are like, I want a vacuum and an over-the-sink drying rack for my kitchen. And like very things that you would think like how insulting to get a woman this. And I'm like, please get it for me.
No, I asked for exercise pants too.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want because I usually buy, whatever Target has. So, but when it's Christmas, I ask for like the nicer ones. Like, I think, but I remember this was like recently, a couple of years ago, I was opening my gift and Scott had gotten me a few exercise workout stuff. And I think it was his parents. I don't remember. Anyway, whoever else was in the room, maybe it was my parents. I honestly don't remember. They were just like, oh my, like they were insulted for me, like on my behalf. And I'm like, no, like I love to work. Like I like to work out. I wouldn't say I love to work out, but I like to work out. And I like the nicer, higher quality workout pants. So anyway, yeah.
I didn't say this in our kid hack episode, but I meant to, and it is kind of a favorite thing. If you don't know, YouTube Kids has an option where you can go in and hand select the videos that you want your children to see, and it will not show them anything else.
Oh, yeah.
So you can curate their content specifically instead of just choosing this age range, these topics, because you can get some sketchy stuff in there, and some people that I've talked to have been a little turned off by it. But you can go in and say just these channels.
Yeah.
And that's really helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite thing is to eat right now and to nap.
You are growing a baby.
And to clean by myself.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Seriously.
Time to clean by myself.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
All right.
Then we should wrap it up.
Well, Merry Christmas to you guys and Happy New Year. We're going to be coming out with some new episodes probably in like late January, early February.
Yeah, we're going to take some time off, and this will tie you over. And Knox has one more thing to say. Go ahead.
Love your husbands, everyone.
Yes. Go love God, go love your husbands, and go love your
Wives
and kids.
And kids.
and kids.
If you're a woman, you should not have a wife.
Yeah, we do have, I think we have like 13 menfolk that listen, or at least our followers.
Yeah.
I don't know if they listen.